7, 8, 9.
Okay, what's happening? We're back for another edition of the Astro Weather. I am your Astro Weatherman, Robert Phoenix, and there is a how do I say this? A deadly gloom that has settled in over the city of San Antonio after last night's absolute meltdown in New York City with the Spurs versus the Knicks. It was a tale of two halves. Oh my God, I've never seen anything like it. As a watcher of pro sports, of sports ball, and I was actually pulling for the Spurs last night. I was like, okay, I have skin in this game now. And as soon as the Spurs started, as soon as I say, okay, I'm pulling for the team down. I'm not a Spurs fan. I'm a Golden State Warriors fan. I've always been a Warriors fan. And we had some glorious runs there. But the Spurs are just down the road. And so I thought, I'll root for the local guys. And for the first half, I was like, oh my God, they could, they're making a statement here. They might win a couple more games. And then they had the most incredible meltdown. And the ending of that game is unlike any ending I've ever seen in terms of the NBA period, especially at a championship mode. And it was the most obnoxious gathering of people that it was like if there was a hell, Celebrity Row in Madison Square Garden was that hell last night. You had Taylor Swift and her Swiftie girls and their New York Knicks T-shirts and jumping around and getting all Energizer Bunny, Larry David, Jerry Seinfeld. I mean, all the people that in a lot of ways, even John McEnroe, who was sitting next to Larry David. I like McEnroe, but at the same time, he's also, kind of a bit of a pain in the ass as a tennis player, right? And clearly a longtime New Yorker, but I still like McEnroe. And they were all there. They were all the people you kind of love to hate. I'm serious. And they're the recipients of basketball god magic at the end of that game, and they're stunned. They're absolutely stunned, and they're not the only ones. I mean, I think there was a lot of hard drinking going on in San Antonio after that game last night. Clearly, the Venus-Jupiter conjunction in Cancer somehow favored the Knicks. Who's the guy that made the winning shot? Let's see. It's OG Anunoby, who's actually a really good player. When's his birthday? Oh, look at that. He's born July 17th, 1997. Let me see if we can have his astrological chart. He's not a named player. Well, he is if you okay, so here we go. OG Anunoby on Astro charts. Let's see. All right. Here we go. This is some astrology. Right here. We don't have a birth time for him. But here's what I'm going to share with you. This guy was the recipient of the Jupiter-Venus conjunction in his chart. So this is from Astro Charts, and there's his Jupiter. I'm sorry, there's his sun. And where's his sun? At 24 degrees Cancer. There you go. That's your guy at 24 degrees Cancer that hits the game-winning shot. Pretty much says it all, doesn't it? He's got Moon and Sag, so he's pretty lucky. You know, I've said this before, Mars in Libra tends to be really athletic. Oh, we got to, that's right, I got to burn this. Thanks, Renette. That always happens. Sometimes I'm on it, sometimes I'm not. I'm just so there's this chart, right? Sun in Cancer, right there, 26 degrees. Is that right? I'm sorry, 24 degrees. So his sun is conjunct. Sun is part of the Jupiter-Venus conjunction, and this is the guy that hits the game-winning shot last night. I should probably show you. It's so incredibly lucky. Lucky is a word that I would use. Let me see if I can play it for you, just briefly. And this isn't just a demonstration of astrology. OG Ananobi game winner. Okay, let me see if I can just find this as a brief clip. And yeah, this is it right here. This. I know. Hold on. And I'm going to turn the sound down because I don't want to get copyright over this. Because fucking YouTube is that way. Okay, and then I'm gonna slow this down. I'm gonna slow this down so you can see what happens. Playback speed right there. Okay, and then let me share this. This is what a Sun Jupiter Venus conjunction looks like. Okay, we got 5.7 seconds here left in the game. San Antonio is up by 1 point, and there's the ball. It's about to be inbounded. Okay, watch what happens here. Okay, the ball gets inbounded. Jalen Brunson gets it. All right, he's at the top of the key. This is it for the game. And he misses, and here comes Ananobi right there. That's the game winner. That is a game winner. And everybody just loses their mind, right? That is your game-winning shot. Number 8, Sun at 25 degrees Cancer, conjunct Jupiter and Venus in Cancer. That's it. He comes in out of nowhere, right? The timing is impeccable. Nobody boxes him out. He gets up above everybody, and in goes the tip. And San Antonio has the biggest, most athletic guy in the game, right? And people just lose their gourds right there. And then they have 1.2 seconds left, and they're just stumbling. They're just looking around. Well, what happened? What just happened? And the Knicks are in this, gladiatorial conquering moment, right? And Ananobi has come in and basically saved. Let me play one more time. This is what happens when ball's in, right? And let's just count this down. 5, 4. And then it clanks, and there he comes with 2 seconds left. That's it. That's your game-winning shot, the culmination of an absolute meltdown in the Garden. If somebody boxed him out, they could have won that game, even though they fully collapsed. 1.2 seconds left, and all your favorite people in the world are having the time of their lives. It'll go down as one of the great shots in NBA history, and it's all about the timing, right? There it is. He's above the rim. He gets above Harper. And Wembanyama's like, what is he doing? He's just standing there, 7'4", and he has no effect on the play whatsoever. None. Right? He's like, He's going to catch hell for that. I tell you that right now. He'll catch hell for it. This will be dissected 8 different ways today. There you go. And I know it's sports, but it is astrologically centric. If we're slicing the pizza, right, the guy has his sun Venus conjunction. He has his sun conjunct Venus and Jupiter right there in Cancer. Hello. Talk about lucky. Talk about fortuitous. Talk about astrology being a thing. You can see it. I rest my case. I rest my case. What about the Caitlin Clark shot the other day? Epic game-winning shot. It's a good shot. It's not like that. It's not like that at all. Good shot, not like that. That shot was in a championship series, right, with 1 second left, 2 seconds left, comes in out of nowhere. So, Caitlin gets her flowers, but that shot we saw. That's it. Spurs are done. They're done. But again, you wrap the astrology around it and you're like, of course, it makes sense that the guy who would make that shot, his sun would be conjunct Jupiter and Venus. What more do you need? I rest my case. Yes, Seinfeld was there. I rest my case. Okay, let's see. Who do we have? We got a little bit of a crowd here. DJMC, California Contrarian. Nice story there, KK, about JFK. By the way, I was messing around with the thumbnail, and I thought it would be, because JFK and Marilyn Monroe are both Geminis. And I thought in another timeline, in another reality, them getting married would be a kind of an interesting discussion. And it's so funny, when I put that into I put the whole marriage thing into AI, and that's the only one that came out that was black and white. Everything else was color. And I thought with the 2 chalices, right, almost like the 2 pillars, but there was something very Gemini, because they're both Geminis, about this photo. Now, I'll give you a little look behind the scenes here. I almost used this one because it incorporated the star theme. And once I got into the whole Kennedy Monroe world, the possibilities became real interesting. Right. And I like the starry backdrop because, of course, it kind of incorporates the night sky and stars and astrology. And there are others, right? But I went with the black and white wedding one because it was very Gemini. So kind of a look behind the scenes, just in terms of the creative process. But so what do you guys think, right? What do you guys think of my assessment of OG Anunoby and his Cancerian sun conjunct Venus and Jupiter last night? Do you think that makes a case for astrology? I certainly do. It's the guy who wins the game, right? And he's jacked into that conjunction, the timing, the height, the expansion, the flow, all of it. It's all there. Anyway, I rest my case. What do you think? Let's see. Misbehaving 2, Liddy Lou. Yeah, there's some very cool photos of Venus and Jupiter. And it's Thursday. What's up, Steve? Crone Rangers here. Look at that. Diane, way to go next. A proud Knickerbocker fan. Let's see. Steve getting some love for his new Facebook picture. Road trip 1981. What's going on, Darlene? And Darlene agreed with me. I had some agreement about Cliff High yesterday. I thought I was sticking my ass out in the roaster yesterday because I was a little, I was a little prickly with Uncle Cliffy. Yeah, the comments were actually pretty supportive of my position. So I take that to be a positive thing. And so thank you for reaffirming my feeling about Mr. High. And there was a time, to be honest, right, there was a time when he was pretty impressive. But I'm gonna, I've said this before, when he was with George Ure and they were doing the data sets together, that's when Cliff was at his best. Right. That's when it was sort of like McCartney and Lennon with those two guys. And I think that they helped each other. And I think George was more of like the straight man, like he was like the analytical guy, and Cliff was the out there guy. And so they kind of, complemented each other in that way. And to me, that's when they were the most effective, when they were actually teamed up. So I will give Cliff some flowers there, but it was a certain point in time. And then what happened, as we all know, well, perhaps we don't all know, is that the internet got filled with bots and all these other things, and so they couldn't run their models anymore. Like the data sets that were coming back to them were tainted because the internet at a certain point in time didn't have, like, the whole bot world didn't really start to show up until like around 2001. And I remember when because we deployed bots on this website that I used to work for. And it was for internal, it wasn't really internal, but it had to do with like piracy and shit like that for the MP3 world. And it was my first introduction to bots. And so that's when bots really came online, about 2001. So everything they were doing prior to that, and that's why they got such a clean feedback from what they were doing and were actually able to predict 9/11. Those two guys were on it, right? Credit where credit is due. But after 2001, the whole idea of the bot gets introduced and it changes the internet forever, right? It's like the first instance of some degree of artificial intelligence being let loose on the internet. Let's see. We got Neil Smith. What's up, Neil? The lovely and talented one. Renee is here. Feminine poet. Feminine poet. Hi. Welcome, Privacy Anti-Scam. Dave Sullivan. Janine's here. Catherine Rosen. She's here. Charlie's back. Folks, Phoenix, you were anywhere near the Oakland Coliseum in the 74 Leonard Skinner. I was not anywhere near the Coliseum, but I've watched that video time and time again. It is one of the greatest videos of all time. It's talking about when Leonard Skinner played Oakland. It is the height. It is the height of rock culture, the absolute height. And all you got to do is scan the audience and you'll know what I'm talking about. If you know, you know. However, I did go to shows at the Oakland Coliseum during that time. And they would have these days on the green. It was like all these bands, usually about, anywhere between 4 to 6 bands. I saw the Rolling Stones at the Coliseum kind of around that time, a little bit after that time. 74, I was just getting my feet wet with concerts. Wasn't independent, didn't have a car to drive. That would happen like 2 years later. But, by the time I got some wheels, Leonard Skinner was in a plane crash. And the ability to go see them was just was not viable, at least not that version. Right. But I highly recommend the concert Charlie's talking about. It'll kind of blow your mind. Okay, who else do we have here? Let's see. Cassandra Lynn. Hey, what's happening? Uh, Woods, BC, howdy back. HM Grant, Annie Day, 77. Hi, Annie Day. Jackie Delario. It's neither JFK nor I know. So it'll be the star of the day. Let me see. Yeah, they're both Geminis. Today's star of the day is Joe Montana. Joe Cool. I'm giving you a heads up. Kim Harvey. Hi, Kim. Hope all are doing well today. We hope you're doing well too. And Boof is here. JJ Rain DeBlanc. She's here. Hi, JJ. Regina Lovett. Hi, Regina. From very hot Raleigh, North Carolina. Let's see. Who else do we have? There's Scrubbies with the name check. Hi, Scrubbies. Always good to see you. It's going to be a good day. I love that. I love that. That optimism. Desiree C. Insane game last night. Over the years, I'm amazed how the astro timing works and outcomes. Last night is incredible. I mean, it's incredible. I could post that on Twitter. I could do a short on that. I could get fucking traction on that. I'm going to do that. I'm doing a short on that today. Let's see. It took touch too. Yeah, absolutely. But, that's the sensitivity, right? Like there's the sensitivity factor as well with Cancer, and it's Gemini also. We can't forget that the sun is in Gemini. So dexterity, it's all part of it. Let's see, Miss Nakia, go Knicks. Here we go. I got to highlight this one. Going to get a gas mower. Good for you. I have an electric mower. I fucking hate it. Who's paying for all the damage in New York? Can you imagine if they lost? Yeah, maybe it'd be better if they lost. Maybe it'd be better. Who's going to pay for it? Mamdani. Mamdani's going to pay for it. Of course. The government is going to take care of everybody and everything. So don't worry, New Yorkers. You've got a socialist mayor. He'll take care of it for you. Oh, it's Debisu's birthday. Hello. Hey, happy solar return, Debisu. A long timer here. Going way back. And we're here to celebrate another one. Good for you. First time Jerry Seinfeld was actually happy. I got to post that comment. Yeah. His mouth was open so wide that had he been in a porn film, a gay porn film, he would have been ready for that moment. Let's put it that way. That's how wide his mouth was open. Let's see. Who else do we have here? My Rose. What's happening, My Rose? Great to see Dead Wolf Resistance. There he is, our guy, holding down the Northern Territories. Wow is an understatement. I'm sorry if I offended you at some point. I don't. You never offended me at all. It's hard to offend me. Today is Lanny Rowe's birthday. Well, Lanny Rowe, happy birthday to you. Happy solar return. Time to make Trump as open-minded as JFK. I have some Trump stories I'll share later. Let's see. 6/11 is 9/11. Little Jimi Hendrix inversion. Nobody is writing to me. I must be blocked. That's okay. No, can somebody please say something to Privacy Anti-Scum? You're not blocked. We see you. We see you. Can we validate Privacy Anti-Scum? Let's see. I bet Heidi doesn't like Cliff's facial hair. I just think, it's that I think it's his brain, he's got probably like, he's got the big brain. Maybe he's used some sort of mind control technique on her that we don't know about. It's possible. Jacinda, what's up? Jacinda, Agartha Brooks, Downey in Nashville, Earth Ascension, Cliff High is fine. Send him that gift you were talking about. Cliff High is fine. That's you're more than welcome to send him a gift. You're more than welcome to. Cliff doesn't need my gifts, but I do wish him well in his May-December romance. Let's see. Privacy Anti-Scum, what is going on with you? We're getting a little spammy here. Come on, we acknowledge you. We totally acknowledge you. Salty Mama Soul Tribe. What's up, Salty Mama Soul Triber? Centaur Truther. We know that is Kevin Stick Evers. We have assembled. We have assembled. There's Rafi. Sorry, I'm late. It's okay. Do you have a note? Did you stop by the office? Get a pass? Jay is checking in from Tucson. Does it live? Your voice is very soothing no matter the topic. Why, thank you. I hope that's the case. Let's see. Got 5 inches of rain overnight. Played in the mud this morning. How fun, Lena. That's cool. Sharon Lewis from Vero Beach. Hi, Sharon. I'm into you guys this morning. We need a Peachy sighting to get grounded. She's in the watchtower. But she's sleeping. Dereliction of duty. Let's see. I wish I had something bad to say about Scrubbies because I'm feeling lonely and gifted, but you can't say anything bad about Scrubbies. What's up, Squatchin? We love Tamara. I saw Leonard Skinner and Peter Frampton. Those were the days, man. Those were like the Monsters of Rock tour days. And we have filming in Portland. You're June 23, 1981. You're Cancer. Your day is coming. Your day in the sun is coming. Esperanza Vance Tarot. Yeah, don't see any privacy person. That's weird. I don't know. Let me throw you up there. Privacy Anti-Scum. I see you. I'm not sure why Privacy Anti-Scum is not being seen in chat. Can somebody in communications handle that for us? I see you. I see you. Shall we get into the weather? I don't see them either. I don't know what that's about. I see plenty of Privacy Anti-Scum. I see more Privacy Anti-Scum than anybody right there. I think I'll just dedicate the rest of the show to Privacy Anti-Scum messages so everybody sees them. I'm here for you, Privacy Anti-Scum. I'm here for you. I'm your advocate. I'm your tweet advocate. Thanks. Hey, man, it's my pleasure. I'm here to validate you. You have to set your chat to all messages. Here we go. Thank you, Time Traveler, Communication Central. Right there. Thanks. So, Privacy Anti-Scum, set your chat to all messages. That might help. I can't do it for you, though. There's only so much I can do. I have to remind myself that. Being a Virgo, it's rough. Group hug for Privacy Anti-Scum. Yeah, there we go. We got you, Privacy. We got that Venus-Jupiter conjunction for you. We're going to love you up. You're not homeless here, brother. We got you. Nobody gets left behind. Well, isn't that special? We do our best. Dead Wolf, I would do it for you too. Let's keep that straight. I guess we should get into the astrology. I'm gonna do a little bit of a transition here. Can I just transition for a second? I've been enjoying this because there we go. All messages. Yay! There you go. Inclusive. We have the inclusion moment. Right on. And we get thank you and gratitude. So I had a Venus Jupiter conjunction moment. It was really trite. It was a trite moment. But I'm gonna share the moment with you anyway. So I had bought these shoes at Nordstrom's. I got kind of a shoe thing. I've always loved shoes. Even as a kid, I loved shoes. And I've got probably more pairs of shoes than I really need. And I wanted some suede loafers, like kind of desert boots, right? And I found a pair at Nordstrom's, reasonable price. They're usually pretty expensive. Reasonable price. The only problem is that they had them at this other store in Austin, the Domain store, which is up the road from this other mall. So they had to bring them in, and they were going to be there the next day. So I paid for them, and I forgot about them. And the next day didn't work for whatever reason. And so we didn't get the shoes. And this was like 2 weeks ago. And, the lovely and talented one stopped by Nordstrom's yesterday at the pickup to go pick up the shoes finally. And they had been sent back to the Domain, right? And I didn't have a receipt. I didn't have a number for the shoes. I didn't have any of that. And so she's there. She's talking to the woman who's at the pickup. And I'm painting the picture as clearly as I can. She's Indian. You can tell these things. There's an accent there. And I get her on the phone, right? And I can hear her kind of in the background. And she sounds a little difficult, right? And so I decide to go into this phone call and be really pleasant with her. Hi, how are you? Right. And I start to, I'm just being, without being overly nice, I'm being nice to this person. I'm being kind, cordial, respectful. And I said, I don't have any of the identification. I don't have my papers. But I described the shoe and I gave her my name. And she saw it. She saw I'd been logged in. And so she validated me. She validated that the shoes had been there, that they'd been sent back. And I said, well, could you please do me a favor and could you give the item number to the woman that you're talking to, so the next time when I come in, I have that and I can start the process all over again. No problem, son. No problem, son. Right? And she got really nice. She got really, really nice. And I could tell she was a little chippy when she got on. And I went into that. I could hear it. I could hear the phone conversation. I was like, I'm just going to be really cool, really nice. I'm not going to stop my feet. Where the hell are my shoes? God damn it. Why'd you send them back? Why didn't you call me? It's like, no, we don't need to go there. Right? We don't need to go there. Let's validate this person. And let's let the universe take care of the rest. And it did. It's that simple. It is that simple. Anyway, that was my Venus. It's a mundane Venus Jupiter conjunction moment, but got the number, get to go back, pick up my shoes in a couple of weeks. Everything is cool at Nordstrom's. I've been really, and I'm going to get to the weather. But I have to share this with you guys. I've been really getting into like the science of YouTube and why certain channels are successful and how they're successful. And I've really been like spend, and not just astrological channels, but channels in general. And I am learning so much about the mechanics of making successful videos. And I'm going through a very Gemini moment with this shit. Like I'm getting really, really granular. And I'm not going to talk too much about it because people want to know about the astrology. But let's just say that I'm learning a lot. And there is a science behind being successful on YouTube. I can tell you that right now. What it is, I'm not going to tell you because people want to hear the weather. So let's get to it. But it's been a very interesting epiphany regarding content. All right. So that's where we are now. We'll make it bigger. You want it bigger? No problem. Okay. There we go. Today's interesting. Look at the sun. The sun is just hanging out there at 20 degrees. And it is not dancing with any other planet right now. I think it's a really fascinating aspect. Really, really fascinating aspect. And it's almost like if you were playing a board game, you would land on something called a free space, right? You would land on the free space, and it would be like you are not tethered to any of the rules of the game today. Right. Or you're not tethered to any, like if there were options, free space, you can move ahead five spaces, or you can move back 5 spaces. Right. And let's say one of those 5 spaces was really fortuitous. And you can say, okay, I'm going to just move ahead 5 spaces. And, if it was a money game, like, yeah, I'll collect that $1,500 bonus. And then if you look back 5 spaces, you're like, oh man, I'm not sure I want to go back 5 spaces. Or you could go back 5 spaces and it would incentivize you to get the $1,500. And you might move ahead and get ahead of people, but that there would be less reward for moving ahead. It's that kind of day. What do you want to do today? Gemini is now just moved into that 3rd decan. It's Aquarian. It is unpredictable. Be a little unpredictable today. Right? But today, I'm telling you right now, at least at this moment in time, we're not bound by the regular rules of gravity. It's a very daunting sort of predicament to be in. It's sort of like, what would happen if you were like a caged animal for a long period of time and they opened up the door of the cage and you didn't leave the cage? Like you couldn't see, like your eyes still somehow comprehended that there was a barrier between you and the outside world. Like you couldn't see beyond that. Today's kind of one of those days. I'm not advocating you go out and murder somebody today. Hey, I can get a murder today. Robert said it on the show. Let me go buy some bleach. No, that's not really what I'm talking about. But I am talking about this idea that we're far less bound, because that planet, the sun is going to show up somewhere in your chart. I guarantee you, 20 degrees, it's showing up somewhere in your chart. And where it's showing up is you got a lot more free space than you think. You got more moves on the table. You know who's phenomenal? I would use the word phenomenal. Patrick Bet-David is all about the moves. Your next move. It doesn't have a book called Your Next Move or some shit like that. He's all about moves. Listen, guys, I could probably do a Pat Bet-David impression. It would take me a little bit, but I can figure him out. President Trump's next move should be the following, right? Like that's where he comes in. So today's a day where you get a free space. You get a free move. What are you going to do with it? Especially in Aquarius. And who knows? Maybe you'll just go about your business and some other, atom in space will connect with you and all of a sudden you're like, whoa, where did you come from? How did we get here? What is this all about? Of course, Gemini is eminently curious, so probably want to be exploring it. Today's a very interesting day. What's the Sabian symbol for 21 Gemini? Let's look at that. Hold on. All right, 21 Gemini. Let's see what we got here. Let's see if there's any relevance to what I'm talking about. Well, it's certainly interesting. So, all right, I'll break this down. I'll tell you how it works, right? So in your system, because we move into the third decan, we are now at second level emotional cultural. Phase 21, Gemini 21. There's 20. We're at 2038 right now. Okay. But here's 21, a tumultuous labor demonstration, the revolutionary impact of mental concepts upon the collective emotions and desires of man. This symbol parallels the one that began the process of exteriorization, Gemini at 16 degrees. But the process is seen here operating definitively at the level of collective responses. There's a lot of that going on right now. A lot of collective response going on in Albania, in Ireland. So maybe this is one of those days where some of these public displays of how rebellion becomes, what's the word I'm looking for? Quantum, like it spreads. And so Masaki and I were talking about this. I'm like, okay, we got Albania and we got Ireland going off. Like they're really going off. And I said, where do you think the next place is going to be? And he didn't really say it, but his response quantified what I was thinking about. I said, the next place is Japan. And so what's interesting is the numbers. They've had 9 murders in Japan over the last 11 days. That's huge for Japan. And Japan has started to take on, more and more migrants, right? They're feeling. I said, man, I'm telling you, Japan is going to go off. So we're seeing this, right? The sun is reflective of this process right now. People have had enough. I'm going to wipe the snot out of my nose. The organic functions make their collective demands upon the lordly intellect. This stage may be set for the kind of revolution we call psychoneurosis. This begins the 17th fivefold sequence of symbols. That's because it's at the Aquarian decan. It sets the stage for a tumultuous process, which may lead to a new approach to the problems resulting from individualization. The repressed or oppressed instinct staged an emotional outburst claiming their due. I think we can see this with what's going on in the world. The moon, as we speak, has just moved into Taurus, 0 Taurus. Gotta like the Taurus moon. And of course, we're moving into balsamic territory, which we'll experience this weekend. And we're going to have a moon Mars conjunction starting later tonight and then moving into tomorrow. Very organic and earthy. Get your toes in the soil, right? Get out there and ground and do some yard work and just watch out for the ticks. And we're wrapping up this lunar phase, right? We're going to be coming into a new lunar cycle. And that's going to be, 72 hours from now, 3 days. So we'll have another new moon in Gemini before the month is up. Let's see, when we got the 11th. Yeah. So we have another new moon in Gemini coming in. But even though the moon is in square theoretically with Venus and Jupiter, I like the fact that, the moon's in Taurus and it's earthy and grounded, although it's losing some momentum, obviously, because of the placement. It's just at an angular dispensation, right, with Jupiter and Venus. And they're in Cancer. Normally, Taurus and Cancer are a tremendous combination. So in terms of coupling, I think Taurus and Cancer are great. If you're single and you're a Taurus person or a Cancer person, you should be finding each other, because those are two very highly complementary signs. We're winding down on the true node. We're getting ready to move that true node into Aquarius. When it does, one of its first things it's going to do is it's going to conjunct with Pluto. Hello. How revolutionary is that? We're definitely moving into an evolutionary cycle and phase. I think the big story with today's chart is the sun. The singleton. It's out there. It's a free space. Explore. Right? Explore. Maybe try to go somewhere without GPS today. See if you can figure that out. Use a map. Don't use a map. Get lost. Today would be a good day to get lost. Okay. Before I lose anybody else, let's go to our True Hemp Science story of the day. And I don't know if I've done them before, so if I have, I apologize. But today's True Hemp Science story of the day is the one and only Joe Montana. And Joe has a very interesting chart. And I'm going to throw the banner up here just so we can have the banner. Okay. By the way, I had a cool text from David yesterday because he's writing the foreword for my book. And, we're coming down to the finish line. So I asked him about it. Said, hey, man, how you doing on that foreword? And apparently he was doing some soul searching out in the wild places of Idaho where they have some great hot springs. And he's just hanging out in these hot springs and he's looking at the Venus-Jupiter conjunction. And these people started to go into the hot springs and they recognized him. And he said to me in this text, he said, he clearly mentioned me because they talked about me and David in kind of, the same sentence. And they said, yeah, man, we just want to thank you and Robert. You guys saved our lives during COVID. I was like, they said that? He says, yeah, man, they said that just out of the blue. And he says, I'm going to, I just had this, epiphany as I was driving back at 3 a.m. from these hot springs in Idaho about what to write. Is that random moment where they just show up in this hot spring and start saying thank you, right? It's like, that's really cool. So anyway, I thought I'd share that with you. So Joe Montana, let's talk a little Joe Montana before we do. True Hemp Science is your one-stop shop for all things CBD. And we'd like to support our local sponsor. And he's been a part of our show. Chris has been a part of our show for going on, I don't know, 5 years now. And if you go to truehempscience.com and you're a first-time buyer, you get a 20% discount on all the products, which is a nice discount. And if you type in 15MINS, spend $100 more, you get the goodie bag along with your order. And if you spend $150 more, you get free shipping. TrueHempScience.com, your one-stop shop for all things CBD. All right, let's squeeze in a little Joe. All right. So Joe is definitely a Libra rising. He's definitely, he's good looking in that regard, right? You're not seeing his chart? Oh, okay. Thanks for that. There it is right there. He's, Joe's always been like, and he's got that Libran sort of, charm about him. And he's got Neptune in the first house. And, he's like kind of a go with the flow kind of guy. Like Joe Montana never got rattled. Never. And if you go down to his second house, he's got Saturn in Scorpio, and he's got part of Fortune down there at the end of Scorpio. And he's got that sun. He's got a really, like, his ability to make decisions, unparalleled. The timing. Joe Montana's timing and his ability to stay cool under pressure, unparalleled in pro sports, right? So he's got Mercury right at the beginning in Gemini, right there. And it's got that moon, Uranus sextile. So he's got quick reflexes, very quick reflexes. And his level of play, we would call creative. But there's also, I would say, this ability to have grace under pressure, right? With that Saturn-Uranus trine, Saturn-Moon trine. Like the guy doesn't get rattled. I never once ever saw him get rattled. And I watched a lot of 49er football. And I saw the dude under a lot of duress. He's got that Jupiter-Pluto conjunction that Bill Gates has, right? Although Gates has it much earlier. And it's in the 11th house, which is the team, right? I can tell you right now, Joe Montana was beloved by his teammates. Absolutely beloved. They would have walked through fire for this guy. And he made a lot of money off of being a part of the team. Now, he had some challenging issues with marriages. And if anybody's been around his latest and longest wife, Jennifer, you know who runs the show in that marriage. It's not Joe. It's Jennifer. So we go over to the other side of the chart, and there's Aries. And, if you're a Libra rising, you're a man, you wind up getting a strong woman. She doesn't have to be an Aries, but she'll show up as a strong fucking woman. And Jennifer Montana runs that show. I can tell you that right now. And what's interesting about Joe is the sun in the ninth house and the relocation. He was born in Monongahela, Pennsylvania. And at that time, that area of Pennsylvania was known for famous quarterbacks. Joe Namath was from Pennsylvania. Johnny Unitas was from Pennsylvania. Dan Marino comes from Pennsylvania. They were just growing quarterbacks out there in Pennsylvania. But he winds up settling in California. That is a ninth house thing, man. Right? Like the Napa Valley, where he and Jennifer live, couldn't be further from Monongahela, Pennsylvania. It's like another country. another country. And Sun in the ninth house generally is representative of being pretty good at sports, pretty good at sport ball. And he's got that Pluto Jupiter sextile as well. Now, Joe was known, well, he wasn't really known, it was kind of a dirty little secret, but back in the day in the 80s, Joe had a little thing for the old nose candy. Right. And I think that's very, very Neptune, and even Mars in Pisces in the fifth house, and I think Joe failed a few drug tests. Let's put it that way. Now, what's really interesting about this chart, really, really interesting, is the influence of Bill Walsh. And Bill Walsh was his coach for the San Francisco 49ers. I looked this up last night. Bill Walsh is a Sagittarius, and Bill Walsh's sun is at 8 degrees. So it was right on. So Bill Walsh's sun is right on Joe Montana's true node. And there is no 49ers dynasty without those two guys. It's fucking amazing, right? He was destined to play for Bill Walsh. And Bill Walsh was going to get the most out of Montana. Although I think, we talked about this before through the oppositional effect of Gemini and Sag, that it creates tension and rivalry. The other thing that I noticed as I looked at Bill Walsh's chart last night was that Bill Walsh's Saturn was right on Joe's IC and conjunct Juno in his chart. So in a lot of ways, Bill Walsh was very paternal towards Montana, but, not always in, lighthearted. He drilled the shit out of Montana, and he became an organizing principle, with the West Coast offense, and learned it inside and out. Grand Trine, Venus, Mars, Neptune. So, a lot of flow in Joe's life, even though he's got a Grand Cross and some challenges to overcome. I think he enjoyed it. I think the Grand Cross set him up for success in his life. He liked a good challenge. He certainly met one in Jennifer, I'll tell you that. It was really interesting. When he got traded to Kansas City, he was really distressed. And I met this guy one time who'd done some work on their property in Napa, and he walked into his house and there was no 49er memorabilia in the house. Everything in there was Kansas City Chiefs. He couldn't believe it. And Joe the Gemini just flipped, man. He flipped on a dime. He became, Mr. Chief, the big chief. The guy was kind of stunned, and he didn't really talk to Montana about it, but he said, this is the look of somebody who is jilted, right? And I think that gets into his Mars and Pisces. And I think he was real sensitive about being traded and losing his job to Steve Young. Hell, I would be too. He was still good enough to take them to a Super Bowl. And for me, it's Joe Montana over Steve Young any day of the week. All right, there's your True Hemp Science Star of the Day, one Joe Montana. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed today's show. If you did, hit like. If you're new here and you're just hanging out watching, I hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe. We're a nice crew here. Chattari is very welcoming. If you're around a square peg in a round hole, you'll fit right in. You'll fit right in around these parts. All right, I'm headed over to 15, and we're going to talk some Carmelo Anthony. I've been sort of staying away from the topic until the verdict came in, and so we're going to resuscitate a conversation, a deep conversation that I had when Carmelo Anthony stabbed Austin Metcalf a little over a year ago. So we'll revisit. We'll return to the scene of the crime, and we'll get into some of the significance around it, and also a little bit of an update with what's going on in Ireland as well. All right. Thanks for being here. Take care of yourselves. Treat each other well. Enjoy the Venus-Jupiter conjunction. Right? If you be kind to people, it pays off. You might make it a regular habit in your life. Wouldn't that be great? It's like we just woke up one day and everybody was just like nicer to each other. Headlines would be outbreak of courtesy, respect, and harmony takes hold the world over. In an unprecedented viral moment, courtesy, happiness, and respect is popping up everywhere around the planet. People are treating each other better. They're putting down their arms. They're no longer at odds. You have the Israeli army, the IDF going into Gaza, symbolically putting down their weapons, walking into Gaza, arms open, right? God, wouldn't that be a moment? One can always dream. All right, take care. Hope to see you in 15. Bye for now.